Cryptids and Weirdness is my new favorite band. They're from the Pacific Northwest, is where I imagine they'd be from. Hey there, y'all. Welcome to the Day of Fun podcast. My brother Johnny Boy could not make it here to be with us. I'm standing in for Haleigh. Bernie Warrior Witch is here with her camouflage, ready for some cryptid hunting in the imagination lands with my friend Kris from Parapost Network Central, who has decided to join me today. Hello, Kris. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so excited for us to get into this because you know how much I love cryptids and anything weird, wild, and strange. So let's go ahead and start with now. Listen, Pacific Northwest, right, is where we're going to start because you know my favorite is Bigfoot. I love me a Sasquatch.
Bigfoot.
I love a Sasquatch. And now tell me, what are your thoughts on Sasquatch what is Sasquatch?
Sasquatch. I kind of have a couple, and I don't know which one. I kind of flip between them. First one is he's just a throwback. Yeah, on Bigfoot, Sasquatch. He's just a throwback to another time and place, like a leftover remnant, whatever you want to say. And the other one is he's an alien.
Well, he could be a mixture of all of them. And the fun thing is, in the multiverse, all of it's true. So it could be anything.
True.
So
in other universes, they're in charge, like Planet of the Apes style.
It could be Planet of the Apes, like that city in India where all the monkeys took over, and they took over like the movie theater and everything.
That's probably what they were showing too.
They were showing Planet of the Apes, and they came in there and they said, "Hey, now we think that looks like a good idea. I think we should just go right on ahead and try that." And they did, and they succeeded, and good for them. Good for them little monkeys over in India. King Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Can you call that that's a fun thought a little bit. The idea that in other parallel dimensions, Godzilla and King Kong are cryptids that are hanging out, that are stomping on cities and climbing up skyscrapers.
Right. Giant, what are they called over there? Kaiju?
Are they? I don't know.
In Japan, they're kaiju, giant monsters.
Do you know, I'm very interested in things like that, like the cryptids of other cultures. Like, what are some of your favorites in that realm of like cryptids that would be maybe not necessarily well known to us in our American bubble?
In our American bubble. One I kind of know, and it's just because my sister-in-law is Filipino, but the aswang or something like that. It's a Filipino female vampire. She kind of crawls into the house at night and kind of succubus style. Kind of like a succubus.
I like that. Sounds like fun to me. She sounds like my kind of gal already.
And then, of course, there's the chupacabra from Mexico that I've always...
Oh, well, of course. Gotta love a good chupacabra. I was trying to find me some pictures that we could share of the from the inner tubes. Well, now this is kind of fun. It's called I gotta go back. And
what are you looking for?
An aswang. What did you? Now there's a bunch of different ones.
ASWANG Philippine. Just type in like Philippine culture or something.
We're gonna find some images we can share. Well, now this is interesting. I mean, that's pretty spooky. Let me see if I can share this here with the good audience at home who might want to see what we're talking about.
Yeah,
because this is something that I do actually enjoy quite a lot, is finding these sort of different things from other cultures that I'm not familiar, because I'm very familiar with things like, Jersey Devils, or, we got Dogman, Mothman, all the sort of, what would you say are some of the standard the list of standard cryptids that everybody ought to know?
Bigfoot, Mothman, Jersey Devil.
Here, check out some of these here. I mean, that's some pretty spooky stuff right there.
5. Like the 5th one from the left. Well, me looking at it left. Kind of crouching. Yeah. One more. Right there. One more back. Right there. Yep,
Ooh,
that one.
with a weird
That's the one I
wing.
picture. Similar to that is what I picture.
This one, I mean, makes me think a little bit of Mothman. That's very interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. I like that. That's very cool.
Yeah, they're cool looking. They cool, kind of, like I said. My friend was also dating a Filipina, and we were playing I can't remember what role-playing game, and it had stuff like that in it, and so that's how we kind of got into it.
Well, I like those sort of D&D games that are that are educational a little bit. They teach you about other different. That's real fun. I would love to do something like that, like a D&D game that's based on fairy lore from around the world or something like that. That's got to exist, right?
Oh, and I don't know if you'd count Chupacabras America's bubble, but Chupacabra.
Well, I think so, a little bit. I mean, I think that's pretty big in like the UFO, UAP, as they say nowadays.
Yeah.
That the Chupacabra is something that's, don't they associate Chupacabra a little bit with aliens, or am I making that up now?
No, I've heard something like that.
Because they're both associated with cattle mutilations, which I always think is so silly. Why would intelligent beings from a whole other star system, if they can figure out how to travel here to Earth, you think that they wouldn't have like some kind of special scanner? They don't need to cut cattle apart to figure out what their inside. Like, there's no reason to have to do that.
There's not.
It's just silly.
But we still cut open frogs and shit, and we know what's inside them.
Yeah, but we're humans, and even we have X-rays and other better things we could be using to do that kind of stuff with. I mean,
absolutely. Or maybe it's like the high school. Remember in high school when you had to dissect the frog? Maybe that's their high school field trips doing that.
That would be a great story. That like alien, it's just well, now we're gonna go and catch ourselves a human so that we can dissect it and teach everybody about them. That's actually kind of funny.
I think it was a meme, maybe it was an actually cartoon a long time ago, way back. And it showed a mother alien, and she's looking down at her son. She's like, "Why do you always wait till the night before it's due to tell me you need 2 humans?"
To tell me you need, I think I've seen that one. And I do enjoy that. To tell me you need 2 humans, it's show and tell. They just need to borrow us for a minute and be like, these are a species from a planet called Earth, and they're all real primitive over there. They still do things like use currency to like need to buy stuff, and they got guns. You wouldn't believe what those things are. It's scary down there.
Right? Big weapons, big missiles.
I mean, you got to think just a little bit. The aliens look at us and just kind of go, oh, my Lord, what are they getting up to down there? I mean, if we are, I hate to say it, but we are the white trash of the cosmos, I think. I mean, now I ain't saying nothing. Listen, obviously, Bernie, Southern gal herself, grew up in Georgia, so understands that sort of negative sort of stigma that there can be to that. Listen, y'all, we ain't all the ETs out there. We're not all a bunch of crazies. We're not all a bunch of violent monkeys.
Phone home.
Right.
If you want to see a really weird cryptid, jumping back on that, look up Colorado's. Look up a rock slider, Colorado rock slider.
Colorado rock slider.
Yeah, Colorado, where I live. It's like a giant whale thing that slides down the side of mountains. And
I've never heard of this. This is so much fun. I'm going to put this back up here now. Look at this. Now that I just think is a lot of good fun.
Yeah.
A Colorado rock slider. Look at that thing there.
Yeah, or slide rock bolter. Or,
This is.
And I don't remember the exact whatever's about it, but you know, you could go to Wikipedia and look, or Google, or.
Well, I'm really living this imagery here. Like, how interesting.
It slides down the side of a mountain and like eats whatever's in its path, or something like that.
Reported by lumberjacks. I love that so much. That is so great.
And that's Colorado's big single cryptid.
I love learning new things like that. I never heard of that before, and I love the imagery because that is.
I was watching a stream, and maybe even I don't know whose, I can't remember, but they were talking about the different cryptids in each state, and I was like, well, what's the one for my state?
Well, now I need to know what Google thinks South Dakota's cryptids are. Is what I need to.
And I hadn't heard of that one. I had a long time ago, I'm sure. And
what is this thing here now? South Dakota, we've got Banshee of the Badlands. How do I not know about that? Black Hill. Well, a cougar is not a cryptid.
No, a cougar is really not, unless it's the size of the house or something.
Listen, y'all, I grew up in South Dakota, and I ain't never heard of this here, what they're calling a terror bird. But I think that's fun. Now, I do like the idea of thunderbirds. They've got that on here, thunderbirds. I always think that's a little bit fun.
Thunderbirds.
Oh, that's what I thought I had this here. South Dakota. Do you see this? I never seen. South Dakota supposedly has got some cryptids. Here, things that I did not know.
Oh, wow. What is that thing in the middle? That giant skeleton. I'm like, wow.
We've got a walking Sam. I've never heard of that. Water beast of 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲𝓥. I got to go to 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲 so that I can see that water beast. I tell you what, I did the Little Devils of Spirit Mound. I do think Spirit Mound ain't too far from where I'm at. What am I doing? I could be out cryptid hunting. I don't even know.
Let's go.
I tell you what, they're just all over. I didn't even know.
We can go to your fairy mound and up in the mountains here. And
yeah, now that's something. The fairy mounds are those. I'm talking about. They've got them in Scotland and Ireland. They talk about the Shay or the
Fae.
The Fae, and like they're more into like the fairy folk and things like that. They're a lot more. I think in the UK in general.
That's why you knock on wood. Did you know that? For good luck.
Oh, I think
to summon fairy folk or to scare them off, one or the other. I don't remember which.
Well, I think it depends on what kind it was, because I know that because I'm thinking now Tommy knockers. Yeah. Or they were in the like mining caves or something like that. Mm-hmm. I can't remember neither whether I don't know which Mandela effect timeline I'm on the ones where you knock on wood to get them to go away or to get them to come around. It's like I don't know.
It might be both. It might be knock on cedar for this and oak for that, or
and they all have different purposes, don't they? That's witchcraft as well. You got ashwood or cedar, like you say, or oak. It has different properties or qualities you're supposed to be using them for. Like you've got that Metatron's cube back there in your background. I'm into that sacred geometry stuff too.
Nice. I got one hanging in my truck. I got about a 3-foot one on my wall right over there. There's one in my living room.
Have you ever gone cryptid hunting specifically yourself? Being on the Parapost Network Central and in all the global ghost hunt fam and all of that?
No. Mainly the ghost hunting part. I haven't gotten cryptid hunting yet, but that's kind of a bucket list.
We're going to have to talk to Brian John. We're going to have to convince him to start adding in some cryptid hunting to like the global it'll be like global paranormal. Like I think we need to get him to expand the whole thing a little bit, because how much would that be? That would be a good time, I think. Because here's you could go Bigfoot hunting just about anywhere. They've all got a big like Yetis inside the abominable snowman. They got them all over the world. They got all kind of creatures that look like that.
Bigfoot, Bigfoots are in the mountains up here too, but maybe the rock sliders getting them all. Who knows?
I mean, them rock sliders look like they could be getting everybody. I can't believe anybody lives in the mountains in Colorado. You got something that big. Right. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think it probably comes from some ancient Indian thing, Native American, whatever the correct term. Now,
I always wondered too, though, how much of that comes from are they actually talking about something that is a natural occurrence, but they name it that?
See, that's what I was thinking. Like just an avalanche or a rock slide happened and
a rock slide, a mud slide, you know, and you might be more in tune to it and talk about it as it's kind of like that idea of how animals know when there's a tsunami coming, right? Like you think they probably would have been a little bit more in tune vibrationally speaking to nature, right? Our indigenous tribes, and so they might have had a name for it as an entity because they recognize like an energy signature, sort of, right? Like they recognize what it is, and so they name it something, and then we give it imagery of like being some kind of a monster, but you know, we don't understand it correctly.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. Or they just came upon a giant where it had already happened and said, what the hell?
That is true too. That's interesting. Because you would come upon a rock slide, then but now I have to go research this, because you got to think that if there's been lumberjacks reporting it, they must have seen something.
Yeah,
like Tremors. That makes me think of Tremors.
Yes,
I love Tremors. That is such a great. Oh yes, so good.
They got so cheesy after a while, but so good.
The first one's really the only one that I think I ever watched. You know, the other ones, I understand that when you got a good B movie horror franchise, you know, you keep rolling with it. You keep making the money. I get it. Go on, do it. I got no problems with it. I'd love to make a whole bunch of B horror movie series that I have ideas for. I would, you know, I think I'd love coming up with just dumb. I love the monster movies because I do love cryptids. They, you know, mix something together in the lab and it goes wrong, that kind of thing.
Yep, absolutely. What was that one that I saw the other day? We were talking Antlers. It's about God. I can't think of the cryptid now.
John and I. No, see now, Johnny Boy should be here because now
I think right.
Well, because we've talked about it before. We like because we're into this whole, you know, in the horror genre, cryptid genre. But I think the Antlers one was about a Wendigo. Is that right?
There you go, Wendigo. That's
the Wendigo. Which I think is interesting because I don't know if Wendigo lore always having antlers or not. Like I think there's a sort of disagreement too as to like what the actual origin.
They eat, and the more they eat, the more they grow, and the more they grow, the hungrier they get. They're like undead, basically.
Right, and it's sort of it's like see now the Wendigo thing that I think of is from Supernatural. You remember that show?
Yeah.
And was basically a human, right? That like becomes cannibalistic and
a shaman typically is what they use when they use something like that.
Right. So I'm like, yeah. But then there's also the ones that I like are the ones they call the rake. Now I'm gonna look these up because them are some of my favorites too. I don't know if you've seen
a rake. Yes. Jumping a little bit to paranormal. There's a place in Canyon City I investigate called the Holy Cross Abbey. Once in a while, can't go there.
Okay.
Great place. There was something in the basement there that looked really solid, and a lot of people said it was very rake-like.
Oh, shit! I got the wrong one up. Hold on. God.
Well, it's in their computers and their technology.
That's their technology, just not being cooperative. There we are. These are weird. Now, I mean, you've got some that are obviously people doing some things on trail cams. And I mean,
like yellow one.
Which one?
I saw one that had some yellow in it somewhere. I'm not sure where. Yeah, like right there. On the very edge, yeah.
More sort of.
Yes, that's like the thing. Yeah. There was like 2 to 3 entities in the basement there. There was something that was really tall that they thought was this thing that would crawl. And that was doors at people.
That was one of
and that place is really creepy.
That's some of my favorites, though. I love that paranormal caught on camera when you see those like weird walking rake type things people running away from in the woods.
The last time I went there, I ended up in the hospital from something grabbing me, getting a hold of me, possessing me, blah, blah, blah.
This was where?
The Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon City, Colorado.
The Holy Cross Abbey. Let me look that
You
one.
know Jonathan Keyworth? Part of our little family too?
Yeah, now hang on.
Yeah, he was there too. And I
Holy
don't know what
Cross.
happened. I just got really
What's it?
sick.
Holy Cross what?
Abbey.
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 Abbey in
Great
Colorado.
place. Huge, 100,000 square feet.
Colorado.
And unfortunately, I lost
Ooh.
most of my stuff from it. I can pull up
I
some
love it
people.
though. It's beautiful. Let me put this up here. Here we go. Look at that building. I mean,
Yep, that's it. I'm trying to
Now,
scroll. Like, I love
so-
that place. But
is this location something that's what what's the back? Do you know the backstory or like what it was
it
originally
was to
built
be
for?
built to be the Pope's Camp David originally, and it never got completely completed. That's like a quarter the size of how big it was supposed to be. And then it became a Catholic boys' school. And sometime in, I think in the 80s, it got whatever it's called when they unsanctified or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, decommissioned.
Yeah,
Do they commission churches in I don't even remember. Y'all, I gotta tell you, I ain't been to church. It's not my thing no more. So I couldn't tell you anymore what the
one picture I use my background sometimes. Did it flip? Okay, let me switch sideways here. Look at that little shadow.
Right, you sent that to me. That there's that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you can see your shadow.
So there's like no way to like debunk that really, because the dude's shadow's there. The light is like right above him, and this.
But this was at the Abbey.
That's at the Abbey, and so they call that little shadow Abigail.
Oh, I love it.
As a pun on the name, and since then they found out her real name, and I think.
Well, obviously Abby, I'd go with 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓭𝓬 because that's me and my little series that I like to write. But
right.
Maybe that's what I could do. I could go there and be like, we're taking over. I'm doing a hostile takeover of this here Abbey, and it's going to be for 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓭𝓬 now.
They do actual still, of course you have to pay, but they do actual still ghost hunts there every month. Actual ones, not the fake tour crap and stuff. So I went once.
They just have like group investigations. You can just go in there.
Yeah, you can just go in there like me, you, Brian, John, and whoever, like up to 10, 11 people could go in there.
And they do that every month. They just basically open it.
If we're gonna pay, we could go whenever we want, but they have an actual organized group once a month.
Well, that's really cool though that they organize a group to go in there. Like that's fun. I mean,
yeah. Last time it was kind of. I went to what I thought was gonna be the last time ever there because this place is. Well, I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for this place through the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon crap, if you will.
No, right, there you go. That's how you end up on the Parapost Network Central fan.
Yeah, so I was like, this place has met me so many people and done me so good that I wanted to go to what I thought would be the last one ever, but it turned out not to be.
Right there.
But yeah, anyway, that little girl, I got a story. She always played hide and seek with us. Like literally up there, you'd be like, "Are you in here?" And you'd hear a tap in the other room. So you'd run to the other room, and then she'd be in another room. There's
I mean, that's just a ghost having fun. I like that.
You don't know nothing wrong with that. But the scary part about this is one night we were going. I was like, okay, I was with a group, and they're like, "We just want to go straight senses, right? No equipment, none of this." So we're going straight equipment. I'm not in this room. I'm in a room about halfway down the hallway. And I walk in it. I was like, oh, there's nothing here. I turn around and across the hallway in like what would be the common area, I guess it would be called. Mm-hmm. It's a bigger room than the rest. Maybe it was like the RA's room. I don't know what else it would be called. These were in the above rooms for the boys to sleep in.
All right.
It's on the 4th floor. If you look at that place, it's the 4th floor. And what I saw is like a dark, growing up shadow. I don't want to say evil, but bad version of that. And it just pointed at me. And I could not say anything. I was just like, I pointed at it for like 5 seconds. My mouth was literally hanging open. I could feel my mouth hanging open. And I finally said, guys, and I was still pointing out the door. It just like kind of went backwards and dissipated.
So they didn't. No one else.
No one else saw it, but and I feel so bad because
those sneaky ghosts.
I know.
I was trying to see if they got pictures of it from like the inside because I'd like to see more of the inside.
Yes, I mean, I can find videos, or maybe you can.
That's what I was gonna say. You'd think they would have some sort of.
There, can you like? I'm trying to figure out where to find him at.
Here we go.
God,
there we are. We got.
If you go to
some of the
there's some more
of it.
There's some more pictures. I can tell you exactly where they're at if you click on them. That's the. I got possessed in there. I don't know what to call it. Do you know what a 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓻𝓽 pendulum is?
I mean, I know the pendulum, the divination sort of thing. I've never seen anyone do a human pendulum.
Oh, okay, it's a little bit different than what you think. It's not like you're hanging from a rope or something, but you get in a like.
It might be a little bit fun if you were doing it 𝓕𝓻𝓹𝓸𝓻 style and had the little, the bungee cords and stuff. And
right.
I mean, can we add that to an investigation? Where's Brian John at on that one? I'd like to global ghost hunt. Can we please do some 𝓕𝓻𝓹𝓸𝓻?
At least 4 people around you, 1 for each direction, and then you get in the middle and you open yourself up for a spirit to come inside you. And then, they'll say like, give us a tell for a yes, and you might lean forward, or your hand might raise, or your head might nod, and a tell for no. And then you essentially become the vessel for that spirit. And I became a vessel for none. So my friend always teasing me it's 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲, because I didn't believe him, because it was our first time me and my friend had went without, by ourselves, and we're watching this group, and I look over at him and I'm like, this is bullshit. And they turn, they're like, what? I like, this is bullshit. Pardon my language, Brian.
No, Brian John, we was just talking about you. Good thing you showed up.
I was like, this is bull crap. And then they're like, well, you get in the middle. One of you two get in the middle. I want to let my friend, he just had heart surgery. So I was like, I'm going to jump in there. And afterwards, I was literally like sweating and drained of energy. And the rest of the night, I was walking around like mud on my shoe, just like, so that's my very first experience there.
But I think that's interesting, because I think we all have the ability to channel, energies and entities.
And absolutely. That was my first time experiencing it and getting relaxed enough where I could do that. I have since done things like that again, and of course I call it my last time there, but it wasn't. There was one more time the last time I thought it was going to be, that I got very sick and ended up in the hospital. And the guy we had on Sunday on me and JK and AJ's show, he was there, and he's a paramedic, and so him and JK basically, I call them my heroes, because they got me out of there and called 911 for me and blah, 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 blah. But he caught a EVP the night before from Spirit saying, essentially, somebody's chest is hurting and his name is Kris. So, and then something about him being a hero. And of course, he's a fireman.
Well, hold on now. It seems like the spirits are getting a little bit weird with you and making your video freeze.
Yes. So I'm coming back. There we go.
I was gonna say, where's my AI friends? The AI algorithm, I need you to fix the internet stream, whateverness is going on. I think the spirits done interrupted your story, like they're trying to play silly boogers in all the internet cables.
Yeah, it might be my side, because I'm having like weather here right now. So
you got weather going, and you was talking. Now that's just what we was talking about. Remember last time on the Global Ghost Hunt podcast when we was talking about how water is conductive, right? Yes. I mean, now that's kind of interesting, though, isn't it? That you start talking about those spirits and something that was a really intense experience and had a lot of energy attached to it, and you got weather going on, and then the internet goes wonky. I'm just saying. You
I'm
get
not
that
saying,
kind of.
but I'm saying.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Raymond's
Right.
here too. What's up, Raymond? Raymond and Brian John hanging out with us, and I'm so glad we got some friends. And I do want to say thank you to everybody.
Brian, I don't know Raymond, but
oh, don't worry. We're going to be talking to Raymond actually on the Global Ghost Hunt podcast on Thursday. So you'll be able to get to know Raymond a little bit more, hang out with us. It's going to be a good time.
Yep. Hopefully
we're going to have fun. But I do think that is really, isn't that? I love having those conversations about energy and how energy flows and travels and the different ways that you can. Tuesday. Today. What? Tuesday. Brian John. Tuesday. Thursday. What is it? What? Brian John, now you just got me all confused.
Brian John.
What are you doing? I'm over here trying to talk about cryptids and energy. Tomorrow night. Oh, well, good thing you done jumped in here and told me why I done think that's Thursday. We're normally doing Thursdays and moved it to Tuesday. Yes. Well, guess what? That much sooner for us to have that much more fun with Raymond, and you get to meet him and get to know him, and I'll make him talk to me about energy too. Don't you worry, Raymond. I'll get you roped into talking to me about energy too.
Cool videos. I can't get to it because evidently every time I try and go to a different page right now, it's like slowing down my internet. But
don't worry about it.
Twitch and go to What's Up Gramps.
What's up, Gramps?
His name is Dennis, and he was like the paranormal dude there for like 14 years or something. And he would like record snippets of videos and stuff. So he's got a lot of videos from there. And one with a door opening by itself. And
What's Up Gramps? I just love that name. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
We'll go follow What's Up.
He became a good friend.
I love it. Look at that. Just traveling around. Now, listen, that's the thing I'd like to do is just travel around and go.
That's what he does now. He quit going there.
Just going paranormal investigating.
And now he's just traveling around doing whatever the hell he wants to do.
Living good for you, Gramps.
Somebody doing stuff.
Now,
can you find
Holy Cross? Look, yeah, he's got the Holy Cross. This is the one, right? The Holy Cross.
Yeah. There are little clips somewhere, and there are some interesting ones there. Go down one more. Yeah, click on that boiler room door opens. This door is like impossible to open. If you can share that. Watch the door on the left. I'm not sure if it opens once or twice here, but the door on the left, right near with the
one that's right up front here.
Yeah, with the little screen.
What does it say on there? I don't know. I can't read.
Boiler door opens on its own. Creepy. I'm not sure where he likes to get lots of video.
Hey, there it is. Go on. Come on now, Ghost. You can do a little more. What's up, Gramps on Twitch? We need to hang out on.
One where it does a lot more. The second time it does a lot more, and I'm not sure if that's on here.
We got a couple more seconds left of the video. I sure hope they didn't just leave. I mean, that is my kind of fun right there. Go ahead now. Come on, because now you can see that there ain't nobody back there. Move it again. So that we know that it was you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it does it here. No, it won't do it here, but there's another video where it says like boiler door opens for the second time or something like that.
Oh, I gotta go back.
Yeah, you'll have to go back.
I mean, I don't know what ooh, there you go. Man, look at that. I love it. We gotta get Gramps over here from What's Up Gramps to come hang out for a day of fun. I mean,
there's another video on there, and I wish I could have found it, but yeah, the door opens like 3 or 4 times.
What's up, girls here? Hello from Texas.
Anyway, lots of cool stuff there. I got stuff there. In the Abbott's room. This one's just a funny, not funny, but it's the Abbott, the ghost of the Abbott there does not like women on his bed. So of course,
I suppose you know that's a no for them. They're not supposed to be.
And at one point, it called her a slut.
Well, now that's just rude. Now
Right,
there's no
and
reason.
that's
Listen,
what our like
if
lead guy was like. He was like, "Hey, that's very rude of you to say." And then if we're using a spirit box, and across the spirit box it says, "She's a stripper," and we're kind of like, she's like, "No, I actually go to stripper pole classes every Friday night or something." So
well, that's just extra. That's just good exercise and good for her. And don't be judging from the other side of the veil. You don't need now. Listen, that's something that would be a funny little skit or sort of animated series where everybody suddenly all the woke people start going like paranormal investigating, but so that they can like go get upset and cancel culture at all of the ghosts being rude, being like, you actually can't do that no more in the hauntings. We don't allow that. That would be hilarious. I think that would be funny.
They call him an Indian
Brian.
or something. You cannot call me an Indian anymore.
Right? We moved it to Tuesdays. Brian John, I tell you what.
You moved it to Tuesday.
Do you see the things that I'm doing over here to try to make sure that we're just bringing? I tell you, Brian John, I'm doing my best to keep track of the world, but you can see where my sanity is at. So now, but I'm excited because we get to hang out with Raymond and we're going to have a good old time. And we can go. We're going to have a groovy sauce time. I'm excited about it.
And God, I don't know if it was during the show or not, but we were talking about running water on the other show too.
I know.
Well, not with you, but with another show I was watching.
Oh, I think you mentioned it though in the comments that you were that they were talking about the same thing, sort of that, and talking about again in the UK, right? That they have a certain kind of stone. Now that's something that they talk about. Have you ever watched that 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲 series? Greg and Dana Newkirk.
I have not.
It's a paranormal investigation documentary series on like Netflix and YouTube. It's called 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲. It's been, I don't know, a couple of years. I mean, listen, y'all, time is like before COVID, after COVID is the new time sauce that I have in the world. So it could have been 5-10 years. I don't know. Time isn't real and I can't keep track of it. Obviously, because Brian John has to come in here and tell me that we're doing things on a Tuesday. We got it. Don't worry. I'll be there. We're on it. But
would you have known that if he hadn't told you?
I mean, he'd have messaged me and I'd have been like, I'm there. We got it. We're rolling. Don't worry.
Right.
But that's something that they talk about in, I think, there's somewhere in part of it's 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲, Kentucky, but I want to say is Pike County or something they talk about has some kind of deposit of quartz or something like that, I want to say. And it's supposedly, it's kind of like Sedona. There's like a quartz mineral deposit or something that they say is part of what it makes the energy there different or more, I don't know, what would you say, sort of receptive to, it's something about the electrogravitics of the area because of the quartz. So listen, y'all, it's been a minute since I went down that particular rabbit hole. So apparently I've forgotten some of the science of it.
So just something. That's interesting.
I think, but
here, speaking of cryptid, my mom got me this when she went to Scotland.
Oh, I love it. You gotta have yourself a likeness. I love a good water monster. Pike County isn't that far from Raymond. You're gonna have to tell me all about Pike County and because they said in 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲 that there's some about how there's like the mental health issues that they have in Pike County are the highest in the state or something like that, and they kind of attribute it to this. The quartz crystal is like scrambling people's brains or something is one of the, I don't know what theory, speculation, call it what you want. I'm not sure. Omni is here. Hello, friend. Yes, we did. Bernie is here to be standing in for Haleigh. What's up, Omni? Thanks for joining us. But that is, I do find that interesting because you think about like Haleigh's boogered off. She's just taking a break, so I'm going to stand in for her. We got ourselves all goofied up a little bit just to have some fun. But I do think that's interesting about just, the UK in general being very sort of rainy and having that, the limestone, like maybe that can create a conductivity that makes some of their paranormal activity more, I don't know, frequent, would you say?
Yeah, I think in Europe in general, though, it's higher. But I don't think it's because of age. You know, everyone says, oh, it's because it's older. But it's really not, because we had those people coming over here, too. I mean, we had Indians and Native Americans and...
Yeah, I don't think it's age either. I think it's just that I mean, if you imagine that the people in general in the UK are more open to ideas of paranormal activity, maybe, and so it's a spot where the energy is able to sort of flow or interact more easily because people are more open to it in general and maybe not quite so closed off and busy and in the whole hustle culture nonsense that we get caught up in. Maybe, I don't know.
Yep.
But now go back to our Loch Ness monster, because you know I love a good, we're living on the cryptids, I love a good water monster. What are some of your favorite besides that Loch Ness? Obviously we all know Loch Ness, but we've also got like Champ in Lake Champlain. It's supposed to be like a sea serpent.
Yep.
What are some of our,
if you believe in that?
I love the idea that they're, now listen, there's a lot in our oceans that we don't know about. I mean, it is the unexplored sort of, you know, we've got aliens in our own planet we don't know about because we don't know nothing about the oceans.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know more about what.
It is me. I'm just playing Bernie. That's my character.
It's her twin.
That's right. I'm just channeling Bernie. Bernie is my lake house Bernie, the writer version of Abernathy Franklin. I'll remain skeptical, Omni. I love it. You're the best. No, that Omni, it is me. That, hey, now listen, Omni, that's kind of fun though that I get to. I like it that I have just enough of a difference in the twang that you can maybe mix me up, but you still know that it's me doing the voice. I like that. That is me, Omni. You know it. So fun. But anyway, water monsters. And in the comments, y'all, feel free in the comments to tell us what some of your favorite cryptids are, because we're happy to talk about any of the silly fun cryptids. And please and thank you. Selkies, oh, yes. I mean, now get me into the water, the undines and the water fairies and the fae folk. Again, I love on the fairies and the fae side of things.
Something. I forgot about water fairies and all that, but there's something to those too.
The 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲. I think I've heard of them, but I don't remember what those are.
I don't know.
I think the Selkies are the ones that are like, are they sort of like seals? And like if a hunter steals their skin, that they're like trapped with them. They got to be their wives or something like that. And if they steal their skin back, they can get back into the water and escape or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But now you got to be careful when you're messing with fairies though. Because you know, they sometimes play a little mischievous tricks on you. There's that, you know, fairy lore where the time is different. Now that's interesting too. A 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲. There's another one. Oh, now I got
it. It sounds like a dog howling when you say the name. A 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲.
I'm a dog person, so that's perfect. Nymphs and hydras and I don't know how to say that one, Omni. Selkies are the seal women. Yeah, Selkies. 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲, I do like. Those are fun. I tell you, I could do whole full episodes on fairies and all that stuff because I just love that whole world of the mythological creatures. Go ahead.
In private chat over there, I posted the video of the door opening further. I found it.
Oh, hang on. Now,
sorry to go back, but that was bugging me that I couldn't find it. I was like, I thought I had it on my desktop. And
let me see if I can figure this out now, though. I'm going to have to. You're testing my real-time multitasking capabilities here is what you're doing.
That's okay. Yeah, I know. I'm used to like everyone else doing it for me, and I can just sit here and BS.
No, I know. This is I'm used to Brian John being here and doing all that's why it goes smoother when Brian John's running the show a little bit, because I'm over here clicking buttons and trying to keep track.
Right. And same door, same basement, but it's daylight now. But
now I see. So that goes down to some stairs. Oh. Yeah,
it goes downstairs into a boiler room. But the stairs are like a 45-degree angle.
That's some spooky. Now, what I really want to see is like a shadow figure pop out and then zing zang.
That's what everyone always said. And there is, we call it the crawler. He lives in there.
The crawler.
Which is, he looks like the rake thing you showed earlier, sort of.
Yeah, right. Now, that's something, too, that I've seen in, like, when people are doing, like, cave tours and stuff like that, where they catch things, you know, very sort of the descent, right?
And that's whole interesting because none of the dark stuff showed up in the base. Around Halloween time, the Boy Scouts put on a haunted house. It's a whole giant campus there. And so in the room in the dorms next door, there's the dorms next door, they turned the whole dorms into a haunted house and it just stays up year round. The basement there, they convert in.
That's so fun that they have a year-round haunted house. I need to go see this.
They don't use it year-round, but it's up year-round. It never gets converted back. The one in the basement gets converted back, but one year they painted a pentagram on the floor, and that's when the thing started appearing in the basement.
Well, you know what? They're just calling in some extra fun and excitement into the whole situation, so good for them. Go ahead and play your pentagram games and call in whatever I mean, you know, if it goes viral on YouTube, then good for them. And I guess, Raymond here, I got to say, so the Fae are fun, just don't give them your name. They know me as fan. Okay, so see there, now it's a good thing then that I got so many different multiple personalities I can be, so I can give the fairies different names and they can't be, you know, you got to keep that.
I think Finn means prince. Or warrior. It's one or the other in Irish.
Oh, is that a Celtic?
I don't know if he's meaning it that way or not, but
Raymond, you got to give us some more details now. The winter court of the Fae is the second meanest. All 5 courts has wielders of fire, earth, water, and ether and electricity.
Planet,
now,
the hero.
I love Captain Planet. Now that's kind of a fun sort of thing that my brain just started to do. What if you would write, instead of your superhero Marvel movies, you would switch it over to like the fairies are the superhero types, right? With all the different Fae lore instead. I mean, there's some crossover in the sort of like superhero capacities and the fairy capacities a little bit, I think. But you'd be able to.
I think DC has it. Whoever has Captain Britain. I don't know who has Captain Britain, if that's Marvel or DC, but they have a character named Megan, and she's an elf. So.
I mean, well, things like that, right? Like, I suppose that's a little bit Lord of the Rings, but like, I'm thinking, just full on Marvel gets replaced by fairy characters that just like take over and decide that they're going to be.
That'd be fun. I remember when I was a kid, they used to do like the barnyard animals, and they'd have like Spider-Ham. He was a pig, Spider-Man, and
where was the what?
Blah blah blah. They had a whole like comic dedicated to this. I don't know if it was just barnyard animals or animals in general. I just remember him, but I remember they had all of them. They had like whole
Spider-Ham. That's pretty great. That's wild to me. I've never heard of that. Superhero farm animals.
Maybe he's a cryptid.
Bless whoever put that idea out into the ether. I think that's something. Now I'm gonna have to go down that rabbit hole and find anything like that.
I mean, it was when I was a kid, 30, 40 years ago. So
I mean, but still, I love finding those. It's like, again, the Mandela effect. It's something that didn't used to exist in my timeline, and now it does, and now I gotta go look it up.
Is that what happens with the Mandela effect? Like the timeline splits, you think?
Well, there's infinite timelines available that you can be on and experience. And it's just, sometimes you notice the shift because there's a bunch of people who have shifted at once. Maybe that's what it is. The Mandela effect is that it's a whole bunch of people all at once that shifted together onto a new timeline that's close enough to the other one that they're like, wait a minute, we don't all match exactly. Well, that's kind of an interesting thought.
That's interesting. Yeah.
They like different. That's true. Different fairies like different offerings. Marvel has kept. Oh, it says it's Marvel. Omni's doing some real-time research for us. Thank you, Omni. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
you
you,
jumping in on that. But
I
I
want to
do
type,
that.
I don't, because my new keyboard clacky clacks.
Again, I am not, listen, it goes so slick and smooth when Brian John is the producer of things and is putting up the videos and playing. I'm doing my best, but I fumble a little bit with this sharing the screen. I'll get there. Don't worry, y'all. We'll get it. It'll be
You're doing
polished at
great.
such a time as when it is supposed to be. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're doing
But
wonderful.
I do think that is something that is an interesting thought, you know, the different timelines. And I love those Mandela effect things. The Berenstain Bears. I think we were just talking about that on another live I was on, the Berenstain
What
Bears.
about them? I haven't heard that one.
You haven't heard that it's always been Berenstain. And I'm like, it was
yeah.
it was the Bernstein Bears when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And or people who remember Nelson. I remember someone saying to me, I remember when Nelson Mandela died the first time. Watched it on the news.
That's awesome.
I love it.
The
But
big
those
argument I see is for what's the movie? Shazam with Sinbad.
Yes. And now that whole thing, is that even a Mandela effect thing, or was that just silly buggers started by the internet?
Right. Well, and then he himself made fun of it and actually made like a short of that in college. So it's kind of like it exists, but it don't. And obviously Shaq came out with Kazam. So
but I love that kind of thing, that there's that, it's a sort of weird fluidity in the timeline where it's like maybe it's made up
and
for
maybe
the
that's
internet.
where the timeline went like,
because there is a timeline where because let me tell you what, Shazam, where it's not Shaq, who is it again? It's
Sinbad is in Shazam.
Sinbad. No, he is, because I remember watching that movie as a child, a full-length movie as a child. And so it exists somewhere in some damn timeline. I don't know. Shazam, there it is. I'm telling you. Listen, I watched it as a child, a full-length film, and I know I did, and that was in my timeline.
Not the superhero Shazam.
Oh, right, because that completely forgot about that. Now I jump back onto that timeline where that exists again.
Just to, make sure everyone knows which Shazam.
But again, it's such an interesting, fun thing to me. The idea that like it's so fluid now with the internet that it kind of doesn't matter if it wasn't real or wasn't real. But you don't have a way to verify it really anymore, because there's so much weirdness.
No verification for that one, so it's kind of like. So that's why I said maybe it got made in the alternate timeline, and then it blamed the collider, exactly.
For the time fragments.
Or the combination of the harp and the collider.
I mean, it really is. It's a fun thought experiment for me all the time. Just there's infinite different timelines, and they're all right here, right now, and I could get into.
Think about that. Like, I turned left there. What would have happened if I turned right?
Well, but in some dimension, you did.
I know, and that's what I'm saying.
So you've got a whole other Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure book that you just don't even know about. I love those too. And I was that one that I would go back and I would go back and be like, okay, now what if I did it this way and I end up go this way? Yep. Right? So that you end up reading all the different options available. I was that person that would do that.
Yep.
There it is, Omni. People are always switching timelines unconsciously, and things are not always consistent across space-time trajectories in both directions of supposed linearity. Thank you, Omni. So well said. But it is true. Like even quantum physics says the equation works in both directions. So
and that leads to the game me and my friends sometimes play called, I don't know if I can say it, but kicking yourself in the balls. Go back in time and stop yourself from doing something. What would it be?
We'll go back.
The way you stop yourself is by kicking yourself, basically, whatever it is.
No, but that's kind of fun. Like if I were to go back, I would say, don't do that. It's not good.
Yeah, like one thing you could pick. That's the thing. What's the one thing you would pick? And then every time we play, of course, we have to pick something different because we play a bunch.
Well, now that's kind of a fun thing though from where you are is to say and I don't know, how would you say it? What would you call it if you were doing
And
it
then
in
you
the
get
reverse where you would
like,
say future me, future self? What
here,
am
I'll
I
do
about?
one.
Here's what I want to know though. What am I about to do right now, future me, that you would kick me and tell me not to do? What do
Right,
you need to stop me from doing?
right. See, here's how it plays. I'll go back. Okay, I'm not going to go to, and this will make a little bit more sense in a minute. I'm not going to go to Central City for that ghost hunt. Okay, I don't go to Central City. I don't meet Sean. I don't meet Sean. I don't end up at the Abbey. I don't meet the Abbey. I don't meet JK, AJ, Brian, John, you, etc. Wanty, blah, blah, blah. People that are essentially family to me more than family sometimes. So there's a quick kick in the balls that ain't really kicking them, because that's a good thing that actually happened to me. But
that's a good thing to do though, is to switch yourself around into that mindset and say, all right, what now? And that's exactly, see, now there's a mindset flip that we all need. What are the things that I did right, and higher self then? What are the things, that I am doing right now? Well, those are the things that I can tell myself. I got some fun friends. I'm doing some fun things. I got awesome fam with the Parapost Network Central and on my Franki's podcast network and all my fun fam that I got on all my, see, now, Sir Kris, there you go. Getting everybody back into that appreciation mode. And we thank you for that. What a wonderful way for, look at this, coming up on an hour, and you just timed it most perfectimusly to get everybody switched over into that gratitude paradigm. I love it. And 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲'𝓼 stopping by just as we get into that energy. And who's surprised? No one. Of course, 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲'𝓼 stopped by when we get ourselves getting into some gratitude. And there we are.
Look, my buddy Tom World shirt.
Oh, I love that. And then we've got one more from Omni. Each person, each individual entity and host relationship has their own timeline. A collective consciousness is all the convergence points in the infinite curves and spirals of intersecting paths.
You need to try the book.
What?
You need to try the book. That's amazing stuff.
Oh, I know. Omni's full of. He should write a book. Omni, why aren't we getting together? I mean, he's got all kind of books he's writing, but Omni, are you publishing those? You got to get them published so we can tell all our friends go buy your books too, and go buy my
published.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on, he's full of all kinds of wisdom like that. I do love it. Thank you, Omni.
He said he published or not published. I'm sorry. He's written 10 books and 14 short stories. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. Where can I get them? Oh, they're just on my computer. I was like, get them printed, dude.
Listen,
I don't want a copy. I want a hard copy in my hand, bro.
Listen, I'm just as bad. I got so many books I got to finish and publish that I keep.
Yeah, but you got some published, don't you?
I do. I've got my Adventures of 𝓕𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓴𝓲𝓼 and my Elsewhere in the Multiverse, and they're on Amazon. Check my links in the description, and jump onto my Patreon and support patreon.com/Franki was here for more content from Franki's podcast network. Woo! But also, I do, I got to tell you, I do so appreciate everybody who jumped in here on the comments. Omni you got to get that stuff published too. We all got, you know what? There's one more perfectimusly timed thing that you brought up for us. Everybody, we all got to get into following our passions and giving our gifts to the world, because the world is looking for the gift that you have or you wouldn't have it. And that is a true thing. Dash. Live the dash. Yes. You got on that headstone in the cemetery, you've got a birth date and an end date that's coming. Live the dash. Don't be focused on either of them. Live in the dash.
And we got to thank Brian John too, of course.
Yes, Brian John. And Raymond's got 5 published and working on 2. Listen, all of my writer friends. Yes. Applause to all of my writer friends. And I say, yes, so much more of focusing on putting those things out into the world, because I'm just so excited to see all my friends create.
That's your passion. Yeah, that's a passion. I want to see them do good at it. So that's the only reason I say that. I think make money at your passion, not dragging your butt to work every day and 1832ness or whatever the hell your job.
No,
I love my job, but I'm just so.
I think we're all ready to get into our most authentic selves and live in that most authentic space and have
I
that
think
be
we
what
need to go
supports
cryptid
us.
hunting.
I mean, there's a way to go cryptid hunting and make it. We're gonna find it. We're gonna figure it out. I'm calling it in from the earnest verse. We're gonna figure out how to do all of it. Don't you worry. But I do want to thank everybody so much for jumping in on the comments. Kris, thank you so much for joining us on the Day of Fun podcast.
Was so much fun. I appreciate it.
I've had a great time. I'm glad everyone jumped in on the comments.
I don't know how we went from cryptids to what we got to, but it was so much fun.
But you know what? You just go with where the flow of conversation goes, and you end up with great people in the comments saying all kinds of wild wisdom to you and have a fun time. And you just trust that Spirit knows how to take you into the energy space that you need to be in to have the most enjoyable time.
The flow of the energy.
That's right. And it went well. Look at that. I love it. And time has
an hour already. Who knew?
I know time don't exist when you're having a good time. That's how it goes. That's just, and we've just proven it. Hooray us.
Yep.
Experiment accomplished.
Yep.
Well, thank you again so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Kris, for joining in. And do check out Parapost Network Central. Y'all go check out Global Ghost Hunt live tomorrow night. I'm going to be talking to Raymond, having a good old time. Check out all the podcasts on Franki's Podcast Network. Kris, do you want to plug anything for yourself over there? Tell the audience.
No, I'm good. I think I'm good.
All righty. Well, thanks, y'all, for joining us. And we do wish you happy hunting for whatever cryptid hunting